Hello. What day is it? Thursday. Because I'm doing mail chat. And I remembered. Gosh, it is... it's been a right funny old day. It started off with really pretty heavy rain overnight. And then this morning it's been really quite warm. My car said it was 63 and I believe it. Because I'm out in a t-shirt. So there, although it does have long sleeves. It's been a busy old day. And the snow on Goldy's farm is still hanging on. And I really don't understand why. And then Michelle said to me this morning, and I'm not ever going to speak to Michelle again. She's on the naughty step along with Hilda. Michelle said, you know there's snow coming on Saturday. I said, no, there's not. And she said, oh, there is. It's flurries and it could be an inch or so. I was like, how rude. Anyway, so that's super fun because Alfredo is coming to do the feet on Goldy's farm barn on Saturday. So let's hope he gets here in the snow because that will not be much fun at all. I am just here with my little buddy. Where's my little buddy? Hey, Banny Banani. What you doing? She's like, yeah. I've dragged her into the tack room with me so I can keep an eye on her. She's fascinated with squirrels. Hasn't caught one yet. But gosh, does she put a really good effort in. And the squirrels are really rude because they go up the tree and then they chatter. And they bounce about up there in a very irate fashion. And I can't remember if I told you, but I was, I hope I did. I was, I bring 3 carrots onto the barn and I chop them all up and I give them to the horses and the donkeys and the mules and all the other bits and pieces. And I left them on the stone wall while I went to do something else. And I came back and I was like, that's really funny. I always bring 3. Why did I only bring 2? And then I looked over and I saw the carrot disappearing up a tree up the back bark. And it was an enormous carrot and it was a blinking squirrel had stolen it. So I'm not fans of squirrels. Anyway, we are on here just doing evening chores and getting things sorted. I have a home for Charlie. He is going to a home up in Maine and he will be part of a therapy home and he'll be doing something very similar to what he does with us. The home has sheep and it has 2 other donkeys, one of whom is pregnant. So that is very exciting. And I think this will be an absolutely phenomenal home for him and just a sort of environment that he's going to really thoroughly enjoy. I should probably tell you about last night. So yesterday evening, as Judy was on her way home, she sent me a wee text to say that, this is my buddy here. Hey, Doris. To say that she didn't think Sizzle was very well. And if I wanted to have a wee lookie. So I went in to have a wee look at Sizzle and she really just looked very off colour. And I took a temperature on her and it was 103.9, which is a touch high. And when you get to temperatures like that, I'm quite sure that everybody knows that what you're sitting worried about is that you've got an infection, you've got, or pain somewhere, or there's something else not particularly fantastic going on. So it's, I see you. Corey's making faces at me at the door. So there was clearly something not quite right. And it's not good to find out that there's something not quite right in the middle of the night. We obviously strive to have the animals as comfortable as possible, and nighttime emergencies aren't really the best situation to be in. So we found a vet down in Peabody, which is not too far away, and they closed at 8. So we got down there about 7:15. And took her in. Her gum colour was normal and she loaded in the car by herself and she got out at the vet by herself. But she just wasn't right. She was standing with her head in the corner in the room. She was very out of sorts. And when they checked her temperature, she was at 103.2. So it had gone down slightly, but not really to what we were looking for, which would have been a top temperature of around about 102.5. So we decided that, given her symptoms, that the first thing that we really wanted to rule out was bloat or a torsion where the stomach actually twists, and that's a very common thing with Danes, and it's normally lethal and an extremely painful way to go. So they were going to, I spoke with Carleen and I spoke with Janine, and we were going to go with that as the first course of action. When they took her back to x-ray her, this was after 8 o'clock, these people, the vet was absolutely phenomenal. They were going to stay open for us. It takes an hour for the images to be processed and read, and they were like, well, we'll be here for as long as it takes. And they don't get paid overtime. So I thought that was really above and beyond. So they were absolutely super. They took her back to go and get her x-rayed, and they said that when they put her on the x-ray table, she became very distressed, and her gum colour faded very quickly to a very, very light pink, which tends to mean that there's maybe an oxygen problem going on. It really, they said that they thought that the best course of action was to take her across the road where there's a 24-hour vet, and that they would be in a better position should she have any trouble, and also to administer pain relief should we need it. So they transferred her over to there, all her records over to there. We popped her in, and the first thing we did was obviously the x-ray on her stomach. It came back negative. Her small intestine, it was looking pretty displaced, and there was a lot of air in it, so they were worried whether or not she'd eaten something. But obviously you never know what they eat, but I think what really set the ball in motion was the fact that her heart rate, which should for a Great Dane be around about 80, was 189. So she was obviously in quite a degree of distress. And after discussion with Janine and Carleen, it was decided that what we would do is have a little look at the heart and scan the heart. So when the ultrasound was brought out and the wand applied, it was most peculiar because you could see the heart faintly beating, but there was vertical lines, very sort of like white vertical lines, almost like a curtain hanging down over the heart, and that is fluid. And he said, I think what we're really looking at here is probably a degree of, it looks like there's, a cardiac issue. And, that's big dogs. Their heart always, from when they get to full size, it has to work so much harder to maintain their bodies. And it's an exceptionally common thing. So what they decided was that the best thing, and we have to remember that actually operating on Sizzle is, she's 10 in June, and I think we always our policy is always to try and avoid invasive operations should we need, should we be able to, because you save them for when you desperately need it. The vet and Janine, in discussion with Carleen, the conclusion was that she's going to come home. She's not in pain at the moment, which is super. But at the first sign of anything not quite right, if she's shaking, she vibrates when she's in pain, if she's vibrating, convulsing in any way, shape or form, we will take her back down. I think being extremely realistic about it, there are expectations that we have to really examine fully. And one of the expectations is the fact that what you look for when starting invasive treatments is the quality of life afterwards. Given the fact that she is an older lady and she has been slowing down for a number of months, it's something that we also have to put on the table, is the chance that it may be fares to her and her body to help her over to the other side. Should that be something that happens, our plans are to ask Dr. Parrott to come in and he will assist and help her in her own home with everybody who chooses to be present would be there. I have had Dr. Parrott has helped my dogs over to the other side in my own home, and it's actually a very stress-free situation for them. They, with the last dog, we had the fire in the cabin going, and she was comfy on big fluffy blankets in front of it, and they give her something to make her sleep, and then eventually you stop the heart. So it was a very calm process, and it wasn't stressful for that was Plata. It wasn't stressful for Plata at all. So I think we always have to look beyond what we would like to do and consider the dog's well-being and overall quality of life. So that's what we're keeping in the ether. So if we need to pluck that out, then we shall. But we do have plans in place, and everything is to enhance how Sizzle feels and how she's able to cope. So that's the kindest and most considerate way, really. So there we are. She's doing exceptionally well today. She's actually taken over the bed, the raised bed, the twin bed from Larky, who is now on. We made her up a lower bed on the floor, so it was easy for her to get in and out of. And now she's like, absolutely not. I'm going back in that bed. Larky out. So Larky's now in the small bed on the floor, and she's up there, and she's like, I'm not coming out of here, thank you. So, and she's wandering back and forward. She goes to the toilet. She's back to eating. She wasn't eating last night, so yeah. So let's hope we get many more days of comfort, months, maybe even years for Sizzle. And there we have it. But that was another local vet just down in Peabody. So we're very fortunate to have these facilities these are new in the last year. So we're very lucky to have these facilities available to us, and the level of care and consideration in both vet's office was phenomenal, and really couldn't have been happier with it. So there we are. And what else is going on? So it looks like one of the donkeys is probably going to go home at the weekend. Sterling and Wilbur, I think, are going home on Tuesday. And then I'm not sure when Charlie's going. I'm still waiting to hear back for health certs and Coggins. So lots of things on the move, which is good. We're streamlining. We're getting ourselves organised for opening up again in May. And it's a lot of work getting there, but it's worth it. And I think it's especially obvious just how worth it is when you go in and you work with people. Judy saw a number of people today. It was somebody's 70th birthday, and they were so delighted to see Larky, and they asked if she will come back tomorrow. The problem is we are already booked for a job tomorrow, so it's it's a really it's a very important. I mean, there's a degree of importance, but this is definitely something that enhances people's lives, and we're so very lucky to be able to provide it, and it's your support that provides it, really, to be honest. So there we go. Obviously, as well, another thing that we have to start really focusing on is, given the fact that Sizzle is now 100% retired, and there will be no squeezing her in the car. So that's it. We really need to focus on Mandy and our little Miss Willow, because they've both got big paws to fill. So that's just something else to do. You know how it goes in this place. There's always something to do. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get the questions, if there are any. It is definitely Thursday. Go me. Got the right day even. There's going to be a day when Janine and I do mail chat on the same day. Oh, and we've got hay coming in next Tuesday. A massive delivery. So we're back up onto the... we're going to have to try and beat our record of 45 minutes. So thank you so very much, because that's also where the hay bale money goes to. So that is much appreciated as well. See, look. I've bored Annie into submission. She's gone for snoozy pants. Bored senseless. Now, don't think I've come across a question yet. I'm having to scroll down. And thank you very much for your update about my blinking fluffy chicken, Hilda. I don't know what that chicken just likes to wander. Technically, there should not be any dogs loose in the courtyard area, but one never can tell. And that chicken has got tremendous wanderlust. So I think Nick is going down to do the barn while I finish off here and do a few other things. Sorry, I'm still scrolling. I could sing you a song, but that would be really painful for you. And it would probably waken Annie up as well. She would not be impressed. And you know, it was really lovely when I came on to Meredith this afternoon. Little Sterling saw me and he whinnied. He is such an interactive little monkey. He is so sweet. He's just fantastic. Yeah, it was really hard when Mo went, but you know, you have to draw the line somewhere, and it's horrible. You know, it's a terrible thing being the person that has to make that decision. And you know, I sometimes think that one of the reasons it's so difficult is because we live in an environment where choosing to help something onto their next path is not what we do as humans. I mean, obviously, you know, in Canada, I know has a euthanasia list for humans, and some places in Europe do as well. But doesn't feel very natural, and then you start second guessing. But maybe they would rally, and maybe this would happen, and maybe that would happen. And I think sometimes you just have to have a very clear head and a very clear idea of what are ideal living circumstances and what you can realistically provide, and then have your decision formed around about those actual basic needs. So it's a terrible position to be in. It's not very pleasant, but it's you do your very best, and you really do, you know, just make sure everybody's comfortable and happy. I did not do yesterday's visit in Haverhill, and that visit, I think, actually, what happened was when Judy and Carleen went the previous week, they did both floors. And this is what we've been asking them. We ask them every time we go, and when they're making the booking, if they could coordinate with the activities director on the floor below, and then we can do both when we go, because we're beginning to find that we don't have a lot of bookings available. There's a lot going on at the moment, and when you go to the same place, you know, one week and then the following week you go, it becomes difficult. So from that point of view, we're trying to get we're trying to get it sorted out, and so that's why yesterday wasn't on. You found a half-ass yuppie puppy on Amazon. She will adore that. Now you've started trouble. Good grief. You know what? I think one of the really difficult things is, you know, you can't downplay the fact that, you know, a lot of people have favourites of the animals that we have. That's why it's so difficult, you know, when technically, you know, I think a lot of people get very upset when we rehome animals. But if you've got a phenomenal home and you're just so pleased for them to go there, it's a really, you know, it's unfortunately something that we face on a reasonably regular basis. And also, you know, animals, when they decide that it's time to leave this mortal coil, you know, it's very emotional, and you do get attached to them. So I think it's just part and parcel of animals, unfortunately. I have not heard from Jane W. I did actually reach out this week. I reached out last week as well, and I'm really not sure what's going on, but I am very well aware that I would love to hear from her, but it's beginning to feel like I'm being invasive in her life. And I think from that point of view, she knows where we are, and it would be lovely for her to come back. If she chooses not to, for whatever reason, and I really do not know, I was led to believe it was computer issues, and it may well be, and then she will come back. But I have done what I can do via the internet, and short of that, you know, it's entirely up to Jane whether or not she chooses to join us. But we do send her all our best, so. Yes, Pam and Annie will be waiting at the bridge for Miss Sizzle when it's time. And we might get a few more years out of her. She was looking pretty feisty today. I know these chickens really are out every day now, Hilda. Like their own one-man band of chicken naughtiness. I could give you a tour of the loft. I can't do it just now, obviously. Although I think there was talk about it needs cleaned up, because apparently there's been a lot of work done that's covered in dust and bits and pieces. So let me just double check with that as well. Well, I think Janine should be doing chicken chatting, because she does have my two best chickens. And given the fact that my two chickens last time were not performers at all, I think she should just be making up her own board down there. There we go. So I shall speak with her about that. Although if somebody else wants to reach out, that would be great. Yes, that would be a really lovely idea, Pat, you know, to have a professional photo of Sizzle. No, I did not do the job yesterday. There we go. I think I've answered some of those. Oh my gosh, a 2027 calendar. Here, I hope we are as well. Oh. What was Sizzle's litter called? I'm not sure if there's any other animals still out there. It's a black chicken back out. Honestly, it's like the wacky chicken races down there at the moment. I think it wasn't cancelled, it was amalgamated into the previous. So what they had done was they had booked 2 appointments, but it turned out that we did both appointments last week, and they forgot to cancel the one that was this week. So that's how that came to be, Linda. Yeah, it is, and you're quite right. Dogs can rally. It's the most bizarre thing. And I will tell you, we brought her home and we opened up the back of the car last night, and she jumped out before we could help her. I was like, okay, she's home. And she's clearly jumping on the bed today, so it's just very bizarre. Yeah, I can't remember what, well, I wasn't there, so no idea what Sizzle's litter was called. Okay, so that's Thursday. Oh, Phoenix. Oh, so she was called Phoenix, and then Carleen changed it to Sizzle. Oh, the orcas. That's interesting. I'm sure somebody, Noel and Walter were the parents. Wow. Well, we're all rooting for her, Fernanda. And let's hope she does get a few more years. Jiminy was, the Sizzlers, Jiminy was one of her boys. That's right. And Jiminy, wasn't he a year older than Larky? Was that correct? Or younger? Oh my gosh. It was Mr. Richard who was visiting and suggested changing her name to Sizzle. Ah. Goodness. The Game of Thrones litter. Was it? Was the Game of Thrones on then? Did she have one of the Disney litters? You know, I don't know why I'm reading these questions and trying to find an answer, because I really don't know. There are experts online here, and it's definitely not me. Well, Jiminy was older. Right. Okay. Ah, Mr. Richard from California. He was a donor. I see. Okay. Right. That is Thursday. It is going to be over in a few hours' time, and it has been a busy Thursday. Carleen and Justin will be back tomorrow, which is lovely, as long as the Geek Squad haven't done anything untoward with Carleen's issues in her home. And thank you so very much for joining me, and I will speak with you next week. Have a lovely evening. Night, night.